Good morning, Catamounts. I'm Caroline.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Maria, and this is your daily environmental update live from Indonesia.
Today's topics are the challenges that Indonesian rainforests are facing due to the increased deforestation by manufacturers and other government-owned businesses.
Now, live on the scene is our very own news anchor, Jalise. Jalise, what you seeing over there?
Well, Caroline, it's getting pretty hectic over here. There have been many protests in an attempt to slow the growing deforestation. Oh no, here's a rather outspoken individual now.
Save the trees! You're all murderers!
Wow, Jalise, that looks like a good time. Kind of makes you wonder, who's at stake here?
According to recent reports, the main stakeholders are animals such as the Sumatran tiger, the orangutan, rhinoceros, and elephants, and innocent people that live in the surrounding areas.
There are also very many environmental impacts to consider with an issue such as this. One of these is erosion. With no trees to hold the soil in place, there is a high risk of landslides and dust storms.
Another impact is loss of habitat. With all the trees being cut down, there are less places for animals such as orangutans who live amongst the trees to live and stay safe.
Another impact is poor soil quality. Without all of these trees and nutrients, the soil will become dried out and then subjected to erosion.
One of the most potentially dangerous impacts of deforestation is the increase of carbon in the area. Without a sufficient amount of trees to absorb the carbon dioxide, there will be an unhealthy amount of greenhouse gases and oxygen.
The final environmental impact is loss of biodiversity. This will decrease the overall quality of life in the rainforest.
Apart from the environmental impacts, there's also many economic impacts to consider. But before we go on to this, we have just received breaking news from Jalise on the scene. Jalise, what do you see?
Thanks, Maria. I'm still here in the middle of the Indonesian rainforest, where a protester has apparently climbed into a tree and is unable to
Save
get
the
down.
trees! Ma'am, are you okay? Save the trees!
Wow, what an exciting day for you, Jalise. Anyways, back to Maria with information on economic impacts. Maria?
Thanks, Caroline. One example of an economic downfall that can come from this crisis is a lower crop yield. People are destroying the land on which many crops grow and therefore destroying many expensive crops as well.
Well, that is quite a bummer. A positive economic impact is that the timber industry will see a dramatic increase in supply and will therefore be able to ship and trade a lot more lumber with the newly found wood from the rainforests.
However, with this comes the issue of a loss of natural resources. This proves to be one of the largest economic impacts in this situation. With more and more forest being destroyed and used up, less wood and plant matter we will have to use for energy and other resources.
And with this loss of resources comes an increase in prices for ones we have left. As long as this rainforest is continually torn down, you'll see increases in food prices all over the world.
Lastly, all this deforestation and loss of resources has a long-term effect on the overall economy of Indonesia. The more deforestation occurs, the lower the GDP for Indonesia becomes.
While this problem seems very widespread, it can still be stopped.
One possible solution could be to start a tree campaign in not only areas surrounding the forest, but all over the world. This campaign would educate students on current deforestation issues, teach them on what they can do to help to stop it, and host activities like community tree planting.
Another possible solution is to increase the protest and lobbying around this issue. While I have had witnessed my fair share of lobbying today, there are still many of you who have yet to stand up against the government or businesses responsible. The government is made to serve the people, so they would more likely to put a stop to this issue if citizens come forward with their
The last possible solution is to add more natural parks and reserves. Adding these would make it a federal offense to cut down or destruct any part of these forests. This would prove to be very effective and also add more tourism opportunities for that country, so they can increase their economy in that area rather than in the lumber district.
As a news team of environmental activists, our recommended solution is that of increased protesting.
We must make ourselves heard in order to get the solution we so deserve.
Speaking of protesting and lobbying, it seems as though we have yet another breaking news story from Jalise, live in the Indonesian rainforest. Jalise, what's going on down there?
Thanks, Caroline. There's a lot going on down here at the moment. It seems as though a protester previously hanging from the tree has fallen and has yet to be seen. Throughout the day, we have witnessed a fiery rage coming from this protester specifically, and as of now, she is a threat to all in her way.
Ah! Save the trees!